Hey folks, Evil Viking 13 here, and unless you were completely off of the internet yesterday, you already know what this video is going to be about. That's right, it's Battlefield Premium. Now, the trailer leaked yesterday, and I'm going to assume that by the time I'm posting this video, the conference at E3 is over, and the official trailer has been posted, so let's go ahead and dive right in and talk about what's in it. Obviously, skipping over back to Karkan, I'm going to talk just briefly about close quarters. I've had a bunch of you ask me what I thought about close quarters, about the idea of more infantry-focused Battlefield 3 maps, and as a Battlefield player that started out back in the 1942 demo, and then my first actual full Battlefield game that I played was Battlefield 2, close quarters just isn't the DLC that gets me pumped up. I'm not super excited about it, but I will say that the ballistics, the gunplay, the infantry tactics and combat in Battlefield 3 is far superior to what we had in Battlefield 2. The random deviation that we had in Battlefield 2, in my opinion at least, just absolutely ruined the infantry gameplay. It just was not as fun as it could have been. So I will say that I am planning on getting close quarters either in this premium kit or on its own, and I'll probably play the map some, because yes, even in Battlefield I think there is a place for that kind of tight infantry focused experience. I am a little disappointed that that's the first DLC that's coming out. I wish it were a more traditional DLC that was the first one to come out. But I understand that DICE is kind of broadening their horizon now that they have this really nice infantry gameplay down. So yes, I will probably purchase it, I'll probably enjoy it some, but I'm not expecting to be playing those maps very often. Alright, now on to the good stuff. Armored Kill. Here in the Battlefield Premium trailer we get our first glimpses of Armored Kill, and let me tell you, this is the DLC that I've been waiting for. I really enjoyed Caspian Border, Karg Island, some of those other traditional Battlefield maps in the original game, and I really loved the Back to Karkan expansion pack. While I'm not saying that every Battlefield map has to be a gigantic, well, battlefield, it does definitely help. I would say that the main thing that makes Battlefield maps special and helps them to stand out in the FPS genre is choices. The ability to jump in a tank, a helicopter, run around on foot as an engineer, or a sniper, but don't snipe. And not all of the original Battlefield 3 maps had those kind of choices. Now let's dig into some of the hidden stuff in this trailer. I'm going to roll the Armored Kill footage again, this time in ridiculously super slow FPS slow motion, and let's see what we can see. One of the first things that you're going to notice about this footage of this desert map right here is the massive number of flags. Check out that mini-map. Second of all, unlike the Caspian Border situation that we had last year, the flags are actually spread out, classic Battlefield map style. Now that's something that I can get excited about. If you never played Bad Company 2, you may have missed out on this small detail down at the bottom of the screen here. That is the front end of an ATV, or all-terrain vehicle, a 1 or 2 man transport that was the most common method of transportation in Bad Company 2. It's a bit hard to tell because of the compression on the original YouTube video, but in this shot from the jet you can see some placeholder names for some of the flag names. I see Mountain Outpost, Village Center, Village South, as well as Mountain Village, which appears to be pretty far removed from the main part of the city. This map seems to have a bit of it all, with areas out in the desert, some highways, some areas up in the mountains, as well as some points directly in the city for some nice close-in fighting. The unusual attack coming in from one of the F-15E Hornets in this shot kind of caught my eye. I may be going crazy, but it looks like that F-18 is actually dropping a bomb, and that's not a guided missile. I could be wrong about that though, just pure speculation. This classified cover of the Battlefield Aftermath DLC doesn't give us much to work with, but given the name I think it might have something to do with possibly an expansion of the single player story or more co-op missions. On the other hand, the Fight for Survival tag makes me wonder if it's some sort of Defend the Hill or some other mode like that. It's just really hard to say at this point. The cover of the Endgame DLC doesn't give us a lot to look at either, but if you look closely, one of the soldiers on the cover appears to be riding a dirt bike, and that jet in the top of the cover right there has a silhouette that looks a lot like an F-15E Strike Eagle, which is a 2-seater jet. And I know that 2-seater jets are something that the community has been asking for quite a while. The next title screen for the trailer talks about 20 new weapons, and while I don't recognize a lot of these off the bat, it looks like the Australian AUG assault rifle that we saw in Bad Company 2 is making a return, as well as what appears to be the JNG-90 sniper rifle, which has just gone into use with the Turkish military. We get a quick look at some of the other vehicles in the upcoming DLCs in the last few moments of the trailer, including what appears to be the M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, or HIMARS, which is a US light multiple rocket launcher system mounted on a standard Army medium tactical vehicle. As the vehicles continue to scroll through, things get even more interesting as we see the Russian rocket launcher system, as well as the United States M1128 mobile gun system. The M1128 is an 8-wheeled armored fighting vehicle with a 105mm anti-tank gun. In the next image we can see what appears to be the Russian equivalent, which is the 2S25 Sprut SD, which is a self-propelled tank destroyer. Of course, down here at the bottom you can see the ATV that I pointed out before in first person, and this is where things get really, really exciting. Those of you that played the incredibly popular Desert Combat mod for Battlefield 1942 will instantly recognize this silhouette. This appears to be none other than the Lockheed AC-130 Gunship, which, to quote Wikipedia, is a heavily armed ground attack aircraft variant of the C-130 Hercules transport plane. This thing is a beast. Here's a couple of quick clips from the Desert Combat mod for Battlefield 1942 so you can see how it functions. Essentially, the aircraft circles its target with its wings dipped towards it, while the cannons are pointed out of the side, and the gunners just let loose. And if we go back to some of the earlier footage from the trailer, look very, very carefully at that little black dot out in the sky on the far upper right of your screen there. I'm going to loop it a few times. That appears to be one of the AC-130s circling, and if you see the tracers right there, it appears to be bombarding a target. Now that is just awesome. As far as the rest of the features for Battlefield Premium that may or may not have been confirmed by the time that I post this video, here are my final thoughts. The 2 weeks early access doesn't really impress me. In my opinion, there should be no kind of early access. It's just an artificial delay created so that someone feels like they're special. I would much rather have all of the players on all of the platforms be playing the new content all at the same time. The unique in-game knife, the unique in-game dog tags, and the weapon camos, those are kind of cool features. That's a nice little bonus for people that are putting money out there without actually being able to see what they're buying, and they don't affect game balance. That I like. However, here are the features about Battlefield Premium that kind of bother me. The server queue priority. I think that server queues should be completely under the control of the server administrators and the owners of the server. I'm not sure how this is going to work, so maybe DICE has something really neat planned, but I just really don't like the sound of that at all. The exclusive double XP weekends, I'm not really sure why that needs to be a Battlefield Premium only event. I don't really get super excited about double XP, I'm not too worried about my rank, I have all of my unlocks already, but it just seems like a strange thing to hold hostage just for premium members. And of course, finally we come to price. Now, as I'm recording this, the price has not been officially announced yet, but the current strong rumor is that it's going to be the equivalent of $50 US, and I think that's a pretty fair price for all of the DLC, as well as the minor bonuses that you get for being a premium Battlefield member. I may not be able to get the full value out of every DLC that comes out, but I imagine that with DLCs like Armored Kill, I'm going to be putting so much time and just really enjoying those maps so much, it'll make up for even if some of the other DLCs are a little bit lackluster. I hope you guys have found this informative. If I missed something in the trailer that you want to point out, toss it in the comments, I'd love to hear it, and I'll see you guys next time.